today I'm going to paint something and then talk about it. No, me. What? Isn't Canada just gorgeous? Look at all this lovely brown. Ugh, the shades of gray and brown. I feel alive. Look at this view. Today I have ventured into the wild and I am gonna paint that tree, that one. Plus like a little red birdie I just spotted. Do you see it? It's right there. I'm gonna paint your bitch ass this red. You. Because I am completely out of fucking ideas of what to paint at this point. So we're drawing inspiration from beautiful Canada. Here is an up close of my muse. I have a feeling I'm gonna age just like you, sir. Hello friends! For those of you that actually managed to make it through that intro, thank you for sticking with it. I was really adamant about showing you guys my inspiration instead of just telling you guys about it while I paint. So I hope you enjoyed that. Also, as a side note, this is the first time that I've ever tried using a watercolor pad. So I'm really excited to see how well the paper stays in shape and doesn't buckle. So probably my biggest beginner artist plight is just not knowing what to practice, and often that leaves me practicing absolutely nothing. Since there's just so many directions and skills you can develop or learn about, I find it really helpful to just go outside and observe what's around me and try to draw that when I feel particularly stuck. Normally I would probably just study what's directly in front of me and sketch that out, but I've been trying to practice composition and bringing my own imagination to life, so that's what I'll try to do today. Now, when I was out there and I saw the tree and then I saw the birdie, I immediately thought of bird watching, and I wondered if birds might find that practice creepy, right? Because I feel like under different contexts, if you have a man in a tree with binoculars and a camera, we have an issue with that. Law enforcement might have to get involved. So I was thinking, okay, what if I paint from the perspective of somebody who is taking a picture of a bird and then a different bird kind of gets in the way, and you have like an out of focus bird really close up to the camera, and then the camera is actually focused on a bird further away. So the out of focus bird is like the protector that's telling you to mind your business. So a lot of this painting was just spent trying to figure out how to make an out of focus bird. So to get that out of focus look, I knew that I had to paint wet on wet so that the paint could spread on the page while it was still wet and give that sort of fuzzy look. I don't usually paint like this though, so I was very much out of my comfort zone, and it's around this time that I started to get really uncomfortable and things just started to not go the way that I wanted or that I pictured. And the thing is, when I start to get uncomfortable while I'm painting, I always revert to the side of realism in fine art, because in my mind, or at least what I've always been taught growing up, is that, the more realistic something looks, the better it is and the better your skills are. So I just kind of kept overworking the bird at the bottom, and then I decided to move on and paint the trees. And while I was painting the trees, I was still definitely thinking about the bird, so I stopped being present. Does that make sense? Because I know in art there is a lot of conversation about trusting the process and acknowledging that something will probably not look the way that you want it until you continue to work on it and add the details that make it look good. But I do think that there is a difference between that and just being so worried about how something looks, being super unhappy with maybe one aspect of your art and not being able to stop thinking about it even while you're working on other parts. I think it just it ends up being a very negative experience, and I swear you can kind of see that through the art. The thing is, though, you're just not going to love everything that you make. So when I get like this, I try to give myself some positive affirmation and try to think or tell myself some nice things about the thing that I'm making. So in this painting, I really like the way that I approached the tree branches. I've been feeling kind of stuck in the way that I draw trees for a long time, and I think that this tree ended up looking pretty good and organic. I also really like the way that I did the sky in the background. I think it looks pretty natural, and I also like the fact that I decided to just make up a composition for this and add some background to it because it looked bare and I didn't look up a reference picture. I just went for it. It was a little moment of bravery, and I think it ended up looking pretty nice. A really annoying thing about being a novice at something is that you consume enough of the hobby to understand what something is supposed to look like, but you don't necessarily have the skills or enough knowledge yet to know how to fix it when it doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like. And unfortunately, I went in with pencils this time, although it barely did anything, and so I don't know if I would be able to fix it up later, but I decided to go in with a black pen at the end there and trace out the trees because I wanted it to have a little bit more of a defined look, and I really like mixing up black pen or black lines together with watercolor. This is how it ended up looking like. I wrote "Mind Your Business" up there in the corner, except that I spelled business wrong, so you know, that university degree is really doing wonders for me. In the end, I just decided to stick on my wall anyways so I can ruminate on it and see if maybe I can figure out ways to fix it later on. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed listening to me just talk about whatever. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye! By the way, in these boxes, you can find some of my other content. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bye again.